People are turning against abortion worldwide, not just here. I mean, a total flip in the numbers. And they're turning against gun restriction, victim disarmament. I mean, we understand now what it's all about. And the numbers are all there. They're freaking out. Their carbon taxes, their global warming, their environmental stuff, being henpecked at the grocery store because you want to have a bag or whatever. You know, okay, we can ban my bags when you stop doing cross-species GMO and real environmental issues. But see, that's not what this is about. These globalists could care less about the environment. In fact, they're so nihilistic it makes my head spin. Let's talk to John in Louisiana. You're on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Hey, I got a local GOP group reaching out for some libertarians, and I just purchased Mr. Sussman's book about eco-tyranny, and I think I'm going to present that to him and talk about that.
Well, thank you for the mid-air refueling.
Oh, you're welcome. Also, the EPA down here in South Louisiana, they're on this kick about any land with palmettos on it is classified as wetlands. Well, I got news for them. Palmettos grow all over South Louisiana.
No, I saw that in the news. No, sir. They just pick a snail, a cave bug, a palmetto, beautiful, by the way, and just take over. And that's what they do, so they can say you don't own your land anymore. And maybe if you pay them off and know the right people, or give part of your land to Nature Conservancy or Sierra Club, then you might be able to use your land. This is nothing but these people are mafia, period.
Exactly. But you can get through. But like you said, you do have to pay off some people or know some people to get through.
That's what it's all about. Yep.
One more point. I heard an English documentary about, they were talking about 9/11 and some other things, and they mentioned common purpose. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, they have a big group over there. After they implode this society, they create these fake charities that are government-funded who basically nanny state, ninny, and spy and everything, and that's what it does, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, good to talk to you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they've had my videos removed with people fighting them. They claim copyright and stuff and have that censored off the web. Not allowed to talk about our gracious leaders over in England. Let's talk to Brian in Colorado. You're on the air, Brian.
Hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great to talk to a fellow patriot today.
Good to talk to you, my friend.
I wanted to call you today to talk about drones. My wife was followed by one yesterday on her way home from work.
Yeah, that's a show we should do, is where we have everybody calling who's been followed by drones, because I see it in newspapers everywhere now, where the mayor sees one or this and that, and it's happening all over. Little ones, big ones, flying low, and they have announced 30,000, and they're being weaponized against us. Tell us what happened.
Well, she was driving home from work. It was pretty late. The sun was going down, so she couldn't see it as clearly. But it was about, she said about a foot or foot and a half in length, and it was literally right behind her windshield, her rear. So she saw it in the rear view mirror. Yeah,
they love to harass us with these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's all part of us feeling small.
She's pretty dangerous. She's a pregnant mother.
Well, that is the most dangerous type. Yeah. They hate the family. They hate the unborn child, but go ahead.
Exactly. So, she said it was bird-like, and it had wings that were doing some kind of a crazy flapping on it, and it followed her for about probably 3 miles. And that's all that she could see of it. Who knows if it was above her or in some other position where she couldn't see it.
Well, it happened to Joe Farah. It's happened to a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a family member who saw a bigger drone at about 1,000 feet, but it was clearly small enough that it wasn't piloted, and it had a red light on the nose. That was it, flying around at dusk. It's going on. They're launching them everywhere. Texas is leading the way. Arde Saveda, next time I get him in studio, if he's got the courage to do it. I shouldn't challenge him. He does, obviously. Mr. Charming. Let me decide if that's a really good guy or a really bad guy yet. If he's a bad guy, he's really bad, because I don't pick up that he's a bad guy. But he does bad things. There's a lot of good guys that paved the road to hell with good intentions. They wanted this big, expensive, how much was it? Like $15 million or something for some helicopter. And that obviously got thrown out. So he goes, well, the answer is a bunch of drones. And they're already got them crashing and running into other airplanes, and it's just going to be no big deal. See, when there's a real threat like Mexico collapsing, 40 plus to 60,000 dead, they argue the numbers, hundreds of heads being dumped off everywhere, that's no big deal. But, and drones crashing and all the rest of it, that'll be no big deal. But Al-Qaeda now, that's really scary. I appreciate your call. Let me hit the news now, some of the news I didn't get to. And and then we'll go back to calls, but I promise to get to this. Again, report out of Ynet News, Syria moves missiles to Lebanese border. Days after Netanyahu and Barak warned of possible military intervention in Syria, Assad moves anti-aircraft missile batteries to Lebanese border. I mean, this is just getting crazy. And Israel fighting on the side of al-Qaeda. And that's the reality. But it doesn't fit the script, so people just, if you can get somebody to wake up to this, which is admitted, they may be able to break their matrix programming. Because the people running Israel could care less about Israel. The people running Israel, and it's beyond Netanyahu and these puppet characters, radiated 110,000 Jewish children and killed most of them with the ringworm children. Look it up. I mean, so the globalists hate everybody. Let's continue. The Jerusalem Post, don't attack Iran now, warns ex-IDF chief. So we've got that saying it'll be a disaster. Ahmadinejad actually said, and here it is out of the Jerusalem Post, that anyone who loves freedom and justice must strive for the annihilation of the Zionist regime, that means the government when you say regime, in order to pave the way for world justice and freedom. But that was taken, and that's an inflammatory comment right there, but Ahmadinejad, world forces must annihilate Israel. That's not actually what he said, but what do you expect? Israel Prime Minister says time running out to stop Iran's nuclear program. Here's the New York Times. Israel intensifies with the U.S. talks on Iran options. So that's all starting to come to a head. And then right here, al-Qaeda directs Free Syrian Army in controlled demolition of Syria. And in this article at Infowars.com by Suzanne Posel, who's been doing a great job, or one of her stories last week got up on DrudgeReport.com. She just breaks down all the mainstream links to al-Qaeda being the main force. In fact, I've got a bunch of those articles right here. Ayatollah said yesterday, war within weeks. Iran prepared for strike on nuclear facilities in September or October. As we've been telling you, they're getting ready for martial law here. The police have never been told at this level to get ready for martial law in the military. So it looks like they may be planning it. Then they're going to blow stuff up here to blame it on Iran. You can bet your bottom dollar that's going to happen if they do trigger the war. And they'll use that to roll out TSA nationwide and begin the groping, the new sacrament of your family. The end of al-Qaeda. U.S. claims it has broken the back of terrorist group that it funded and created, not the U.S., but the bankers that run us, as attacks fall to 2005 levels. You mean because all the al-Qaeda people are in Libya and Syria, you mean? That's Daily Mail. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Here's London Guardian. Syrian rebels, who happen to be al-Qaeda, add explosive expertise to guerrilla tactics, and they've got the U.S., NATO, and Israel, and Turkey, that's in all the news, shipping anti-aircraft missiles into them. And, of course, they got over 10,000 of those from Gaddafi, al-Qaeda did, after they took him out, including 2,000 that were guided. Heat seeker and radar seeker. Okay, always nice to have a radar missile shooting to your engine when you take off. There at the local airport. Of course, they'll just use that to take our rights. It works perfectly. Use al-Qaeda to take over other countries. Use the fear of and take our rights here. Sounds good, doesn't it, for the New World Order? All right, there's London Guardian. Here's RAI Novastat. Turkey supplies Syrian rebels with air defense missiles. Here's London Guardian again. Al-Qaeda turns the tide for rebels in battle for eastern Syria. And it goes on to say how great al-Qaeda is. Okay. Obama signs order supporting Syria's rebels. Report says U.S. government source acknowledges that U.S. is collaborating with a secret nerve center operated by Turkey and its allies. That's AP, London Guardian, Reuters, and the main command force is al-Qaeda. Continuing, that is just some of the news. German intelligence, al-Qaeda all over Syria, running attacks, Asia Times. That's just some of the news on the military front right there. Now let us continue here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're going to come back from break and hit the economic news. I'm going to shoot 2 reports today that we're going to air Monday on the show. I may even air this one Sunday because I want to properly review Future Government, Our Future World by Harriet S. Abels. This is children's books from the J. Lumpton Simpson Middle School Library. I remember reading this book when I was in elementary school. When someone handed it to me at Bilderberg protest, I was like, whoa, I've read this as a child. In fact, I read the whole series. I remember reading it and thinking it didn't sound too good when I was like 6 or 7 years old, could barely read. But here it is. It's World Government for Children. I'm going to do a report on that. And for the Sunday show, we'll see if we can get it done by Sunday, or if not Monday. I'm doing a whole other big report. But don't forget, we've got the Eco-Tyranny book, Bohemian Grove, Cult of Conspiracy, all the other books and films, Behold a Pale Horse, the film, all of it available at InfoWarsShop.com or 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. And don't forget, InfoWars Nightly News every night at 7 o'clock. It's 15 cents a day. We're on hiatus until Tuesday just because we're getting the new crew in and things. But once we officially launch it, we'll never be able to rest. Stay with us. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are... All right, let's run through some of the economic news. To old Kentucky. All right, let's go ahead. We got a guy from Kentucky works in here. He bid farewell to old Kentucky, where he was born and raised. Good movie. Economy ads, supposed to be the Iliad. It's like a takeoff on that. The Odyssey, the Iliad, the Uliad. Economy adds 163,000 jobs. And again, I kind of mentioned some of this economic news earlier. Let me get to the bottom of it. That's why I'm going back through it. And I've got all these articles where they say that, oh, we've gained a little bit of jobs, but then CNS News breaks down that there were 195,000 fewer people employed in the United States in July than in June, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as the national unemployment rate ticked up to 8.2. And then it actually goes over the numbers. And there's also a CNBC article here where they admit that real unemployment rate shows far more jobless because they don't count people that have gone off the unemployment rolls and just given up. And again, some states are as high as 22.1%. That's Nevada, California at 20.3%. So all this stuff you're hearing being debated is just pure smoke and mirrors. It's all a distraction. I can't believe Romney even takes part in it, but of course I do because he's bought and paid for by the same people. Also, California was really counting on that Facebook scam money, but now that crash has hosed California tax revenue. Poor government. What will you do? Again, they tell the cops go out and write more tickets. I saw this ad for a newscast yesterday. I wasn't watching TV at home. Where did I see it? Around the office, I guess. And it was like, police don't even have body armor. It's held together with duct tape, and their cars are falling apart. They need more money. Well, yeah, because almost all the money you generate goes to the city. And then that goes to be invested in things that are never meant to be paid because it's all a big scam. But they tell the cops, go write more tickets. We don't have money for tires or radios. It's the oldest scam in the book. You just got to love scams. Land of the scam, home of the slave. Facebook growth clouded by dubious accounts, and that's AFP and fake bots going around. We told you about that last week, but now here it is in the news. French news agency running major scam on the mark, that is us. Facebook stock near half off its original price. Of course, the owners of it all dumped it right when they got it, most of it, but they won't get in trouble like Martha Stewart, who did nothing. The real crime bosses, that's why they run the New World Order. That's what it's all about. Don't worry, though, the cops will write old ladies more tickets. Continuing here, IRS pays out billions in fraudulent refunds, CNBC, mainly to illegal aliens. I'm very close to getting a big IRS whistleblower on the show. And that's just some of the nice economic news there. Vacant Detroit becomes dumping ground for the dead. Yeah, that's Associated Press, but they're not hyping up all the dead bodies that get dumped there in the government wonderland. Imagine what $23 billion or $22 billion in taxpayer money could have done to rebuild Detroit, but instead it went to ship General Motors to China. But that's okay because Obama cares about us. San Bernardino files for Chapter 9 bankruptcy. And that's good because the feds will then take over, and then the globalists, when they bankrupt the federal government, will take that over. We're going into receivership. It's wonderful to be slaves to the bankers. The Fed's gold is being audited by the Treasury, which it controls. Zero hedge. Spain and Italy are toast unless Germany allows the ECB to print trillions of euros. It goes directly to the bankers. And that is just some of the news there. Like I said...
Common purpose. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, they have a big group over there. After they implode the society, they create these fake charities that are government-funded who basically nanny state, ninny, and spy and everything, and that's what it does, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, good to talk to you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they've had my videos removed with people fighting them. They claim copyright and stuff and have That's censored off the web. Not allowed to talk about our gracious leaders over in England, GMO, and real environmental issues. But see, that's not what this is about. These globalists could care less about the environment. In fact, they're so nihilistic it makes my head spin. Let's talk to John in Louisiana. You're on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Hey, I got a local GOP group reaching out for some libertarians, and I just purchased Mr. Sussman's book about eco-tyranny, and I think I'm going to present that to them and talk about that.
Well, thank you for knowing your land anymore. And maybe if you pay them off and know the right people, or give part of your land to Nature Conservancy or Sierra Club, then you might be able to use your land. This is nothing but these people are mafia, period.
Exactly. But you can get through. But like you said, you do have to pay off some people or know some people to get through.
That's what it's all about. Yep.
One more point. I heard an English documentary about, they were talking about 9/11 and some other things, and they mentioned...
the mid-air refueling.
Oh, you're welcome. Also, the EPA down here in South Louisiana, they're on this kick about any land with palmettos on it is classified as wetlands. I got news for them. Palmettos grow all over South Louisiana.
No, I saw that in the news. No, sir. They just pick a snail, a cave bug, a palmetto, beautiful, by the way, and just take over. And that's what they do, so they can say you don't. People are turning against abortion worldwide, not just here. I mean, a total flip in the numbers. And they're turning against gun restriction, victim disarmament. I mean, we understand now what it's all about. And the numbers are all there. They're freaking out. Their carbon taxes, their global warming, their environmental stuff, being henpecked at the grocery store because you want to have a bag or whatever. You know, okay, we can ban my bags when you stop doing cross-species